Hello everybody and welcome back to building a Minecraft desert village. I'm recording this once again because my audio screwed up, so I'm recording not while playing, but instead commentating over what I have built here. So last episode we worked on our desert temple there. You can see I'm just adding up some logs to the sides just to kind of make the temple stand out a little bit more. You can kind of see that when you look at it like that, it's more visible. You see the back a little bit clearer because you have that contrast making it pop out and appear to be a little bit bigger than it was before. So I kind of like that change right there. Today we are going to work on some miscellaneous things, just like how we just had that little miscellaneous thing there. We're going to build the well in the center of the town because we have not done that yet. We're going to work on putting in some more housing, kind of a poorer district. We're going to use some hardened clay and make some housing with that. And then we're also going to make a little stable in that little area over there, which will have some horses and some chickens to work with. So we're going to jump right ahead, going straight to the well, and I'm just going to build up a little bit here. And this is an interesting design. It's going to be kind of circular. So we're going to build up, and then we're going to take our stairs and place them upside down, going as so. And what this is going to do is create kind of a, like it's elevated, but it's also going to be obviously going down into the ground like a well. I'm just simply getting rid of the orange wool right there because obviously that's not going to stay. It looks pretty crappy. So with the well, we wanted to make a design that wasn't over the top but also stood out as the center of town. So we're just taking stairs and placing them against the little blocks that we just placed here. And this is going to start to give it the curved look on the inside that I was going for here. We're going to build this up again. And then we're going to place our stairs upside down next to it, simply continuing the circular design that we had going here. In the end, we're going to end up placing a cauldron as our bucket of water that can go down and get placed, just so that it looks kind of like more realistic and that maybe somebody, had a bucket in there that they already were working with. So right here, I'm just adding up some finishing touches on the sides, simply curving it off by placing an upside down stair. And that's going to give us the basic design we want. We're going to fill in the inside here on the top with some sandstone, and then that's going to allow us to bring down our fence like I had just talked about. So right now we're just going to dig down. It doesn't really matter how deep we go because most likely if anybody's seeing the inside of the well, that kind of means that they fell down it. So that's not the best thing. It doesn't really matter how far we take it, but we'll just grab some water, add a little bit of detail by putting in the water like it is indeed an actual well. Here's where I take a fence, bring down the future cauldron, which I will grab right now. There we go, and place on the end like it is a bucket going down into the well. And you can see it has that little effect. The window in the circle kind of gives it where you can see it from a distance, and it kind of gives it a, oh hey, that's a well. That's what this weird structure is on the inside. Once again, you can add buttons for decoration, and that's what I did there. And then just place some cauldrons outside of the thing, like some people had some water that they left in the place, just as so. So moving on, we're going to our housing. And we're going to build one of these, and then I'm going to build a bunch of them off camera. But it's a really interesting design. So hardened clay would have been probably used, I say probably would have been used. I'm more saying like in the game, people in this area would have had access to clay. When you're near the river, having access to clay is a lot more likely. So we might as well try and build with some hardened clay in this area. It's important to note that a square of hardened clay is going to look pretty bad. So you got to have something to balance the red from the clay to make it look like you still have like a pretty eloquent design, I guess you can say. So we're going to end up mixing in some sandstone into this build just to give it a similar feel to the rest of the buildings, but also give it a little bit of structure. If these are poorer houses, they wouldn't have had, the materials to make a really great, luxurious house. They would have just had, some clay that they found in the river that they can harden up and build a little design, but you still need some stability in the house, and that's what the sandstone is going to do, is give it that little bit of stability. And you'll see that I'm going to kind of place the sandstone willy-nilly all over the place. You can do that. It's kind of a random type thing that you can do to give it a randomized effect on every house you build. So I'm just throwing it in here and there. You can use the chiseled sandstone, you can use smooth sandstone. I went with just regular straight up sandstone because I tend to think that the chiseled and the smooth give it a little bit more of a wealthier feel if we're talking about houses. So that's kind of what we got going there. Then you can go in and decorate with some stairs, making it seem like the house is a little bit torn down in some spots, like the walls are caving in a bit. Once again, gives it a poorer feel if we're going with the wealth of the houses. Once again, buttons for decoration. You can also do stuff with trapdoors, you can do stuff with wooden buttons, or just blocks in general. And then sticking with the theme that we've been going with in all of the village, we're just going to take some chests, crafting tables, furnaces, pots, jukeboxes, and just placing them around because apparently I think Egyptians are hoarders. I don't know. It looks cool, so let's roll with it. I'm going to be building more of these off camera, but we're going to switch over to the stable first and start working on that. So we're over in this area. The stable, in my opinion, if you had a farmer in these times, it probably would have been not the wealthiest position. So we're going to stick with the hardened clay again and do a little design with that. Now, we want to give a space that is enough for some horses to be in. So I started building and then I was like, nah, I think we need to extend this out a little bit further to have some animals in there. I'm leaving a little entry so that they can walk in and out, and then building up the other side. Right now, just looks like two eyes without pupils, am I right? But let's continue building the sides. We're obviously going to fill in these little window spaces with our fences like we normally have. And you can see them kind of running into the side of the mountain, and that is totally okay. Building into the mountain is a pretty good technique to go by, because when you build into the terrain, it looks more natural. And I'm actually going to screw up here, and kind of the design isn't going to look the same on one side as you did on the other. It's not going to be symmetrical, but it's going to end up looking fine in the end. So anybody fretting right now, don't you worry about it. I'm filling in the back wall because there really is no need to have a window that peers out into the side of a mountain. And that kind of gives us the basic shape here. And a lot of people are probably like, wow, that looks awful. And right now it kind of does, because once again, building with straight up hardened clay is never going to look all that great. You can have the, stained hardened clay and build some pretty cool modern houses and stuff along those lines, but just straight up clay is not going to look good. So we're going to end up putting in some more sandstone into this build as well. But I'm just putting on the roof right now. I'm going to speed up the clip a little bit to get that moving a tiny bit faster. But eventually we will work on getting that to look a little bit better on the roof. It's going to look pretty flat, and I will end up bumping it up a little bit to give it a more elevated roof that you can see from a distance. But yeah, it's just a roof. Nothing too exciting there. It's kind of weird to commentate over yourself playing while you're not playing. It's very difficult. Okay, so there you go. There's the design that we have. And then we're going to build it up a little bit. So now we're going to work on the fence area. And we're just going to... Actually, no, we're not. I lied. I totally lied. See, I can't predict what I'm doing. We're going to add in the sandstone to give it the feel that I've been talking about this entire episode. Nothing too fantastic here. I'm actually adding a little bit more sandstone in this part just for a little extra texture. The amount of sandstone you use is totally up to you, or in that case the amount of any material. You can do this similar design in other areas. If you're in a forest, add in some cobblestone to that wood house that you have. It's going to give it that little extra pop, a little extra depth that you need to make something look really good. So there's our stable. We still have some work to do on the inside. We still have a fence to make on the outside. So I just come in here, I added in a little bit of a shelf, and I'm actually going to bring those up and down respectively because I have some fences come up and attach to them, and I placed them on totally the wrong heights. So we're going to bring those up and allow the fences to connect with our slabs, and everything will be quite alright there. You can add in the stairs into this build as well. I don't believe I did, but it is definitely something that you can do to give it, once again, the torn down, more depth feel. And then here I'm just grabbing my, voxel sniper tool and splatter disking in some coarse dirt into this area, just because you need to have a little bit of grass for your animals. You need to have a little bit of an area for them to walk around and be in. I'm going to screw up right here and place a little bit too much in this area because the server lagged. So we're going to end up going in and placing some more gravel on the path so that it's not overwhelmingly coarse dirt in this area. So we're going to add in our fence now. And we're simply going to take some spruce logs and just kind of make an outline, place some spruce slabs onto those logs, and then connect them all with some spruce fence, keeping with our spruce theme that we have going on in this area. It's important to note, don't make it so that any animals can jump over those at any point. There are some areas when you're building fences on hills that they might be able to jump from one block to another and totally escape your pen. And I originally had a little spot in here where that was possible. So you got to be careful to not have that. It's that area right there in case you didn't see that. So you got to be careful so that animals can't jump out of your pen, that you keep them nice and secure in there. And if you really want animals to stay, if you're not playing survival and instead doing something similar to this, just throw some name tags on them and they will never despawn. You just kind of go in, name them, place your name tag on, and then they won't despawn. So I'm just fixing up the path here. It's okay to have a little bit of coarse dirt spilling out, gives it a little bit of a interesting feel. And then I'm just retaking gravel and filling it in here so that we can get our path back in place. So there you go. I'm going to continue working on the houses here, and then I will be right back. So there you go. There is what we have done today. We have our well, we have our houses. You can see all the houses that I've now put in. We will probably continue to add more as we go, but yeah, our stable. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.